Boom.
Boom. Ooh. Love it.
Let's do it. Let's drill it.
Boo! That had to be.
We got some InsurTech in the house.
We do.
With Mr. Kevin Stein. Welcome to the Insurance Dudes.
Thank you.
As Stein was coming out of my mouth, I was thinking, did he say Steen or did he say Stein?
It's Stein.
I had a 50-50.
When I was in Germany, I kept on telling people how to say it, and they're like, yeah, we know. You come from here.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I like it.
Oh,
so, well, welcome to the Insurance Dudes.
Time.
Yes. I'm sorry. You go ahead. Do the deep.
For speed breakers.
Speed breakers. We really need to get the button thing that we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
The air horn button, that'll help too at the beginning.
Yeah, that's
we do have that. Hold on.
Let's do it. Let me hear it.
Oh, hold on.
Is it this? No.
There you go. Oh, that's it.
There you go.
There we go. So I guess we should play that as speed. So let's begin Speed Breakers. Oh,
beautiful.
My note isn't pulled up. Here we go. Have you ever had a mullet?
I have not.
Jack, Jim, or Jose?
All of them.
Oh, it's called a three wise men if you mix them together. Most embarrassing thing your mom ever caught you doing?
Not for this podcast.
Ever jumped out of an airplane?
I have. Yes, over Monterey. Beautiful.
What was that like?
Ooh.
Oh, it was incredible. I just literally saw the entire coastline of California.
Wow, that's crazy.
And maybe your life flashed before your eyes as well?
I have this weird thing where I'm not afraid of heights at all. It could actually be dangerous, but I love heights. Not scared at all. It's weird. I'm scared of tiny things, just not heights.
So you do have the mechanism in your brain that makes you have fear.
I have fear, but not the mechanism to be scared of heights. Supposedly you're born with it. I guess I wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, like the
bees.
The guy from Free Solo. He has no fear. Whatever the thing is in his brain.
He's just missing it. That's crazy.
He's just missing it. He is nuts. Best dinosaur.
Oh, man. That's a good one. Triceratops.
Wow, our first Triceratops.
Yes, first Triceratops.
I think they're a vegetarian.
Yeah, actually, I'm vegetarian.
Well, there you go. How many kids?
No kids.
Have you made cry? Sorry, please wait for the...
All of the kids.
All of the...
None
to all.
It's my face. That's the problem. It just kind of happens naturally.
Right. And so if you want to see that, you can always go to YouTube if you're just listening to the audio. Count Chocula or Count Dracula?
Dracula.
What year did Marty go back to when he went back in time? The first time.
1972?
That's my birth year. I wasn't supposed to give that away. I would say I'm 90. It was
That's not your birth year. It's
55. 55.
Oh, man.
What kind of car was Kit?
Is that the love bug?
No. Hello, Michael.
Am I too young for this?
Maybe.
Herbie?
Yeah.
Sure. What country is Hasselhoff Eugen?
Germany.
That's right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Tacos or burritos? And you are correct with
Burritos.
dogs.
All day.
Burritos. It's been
All
a burrito day.
burritos.
What does ALF stand for?
Oh, man. Wasn't it short for his name? Alfred? No?
No, I was thinking of Homer. What the J stands for. But no, alien life form. Alien life form is the correct response.
Yeah. That was my first video game was Alf.
Oh, really?
Computer game, I guess. Yeah.
There was an Alf video game
in the game?
Yeah, it was like a original
that's right.
DOS game or something.
He eats cats.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what he did in the game, though, right? He ate cats.
You're not. Then what do you mean you're too young? If you know that,
I mean, I guess I just didn't remember.
No, it's okay.
It's been a while.
What was the final villain in Ghostbusters?
I don't know.
And
I'm failing this test.
you're fine. No, it's okay.
No,
There's
you're
no
doing
correct.
good,
There's no correct answer. Trump or Biden? And time is up.
Wrong podcast.
Time is up. Time is up.
I like the ding. That's
I
a
know.
perfect time for
I mean,
the ding.
you've got to be kidding me that we haven't been doing this. Well,
The soundboard.
Mr. Jason, you have one final question.
Yes, Mr. Kevin. What was the first concert you ever went to? Go all the way back to Barney. I want to know.
My first concert was a Drifters and Temptations concert with my dad. Yeah. It was the Santa Clara County Fairground.
Oh yeah, you get good music up there.
That is
really
cool.
good music. My dad was big with the oldies. He had this he was in religious service. He was a Catholic brother and yet had a gigantic baby blue T-Bird that he would drive between the school he was teaching at and the church.
Wow.
Just blasting the
That's
Temptations driving down the street.
That is fantastic.
Well, that is amazing. So start back when you were tempted and drifting all the way into engineering with Berkeley, you know, and Stanford, and now managing 50 million in sales and all the other cool stuff. So much stuff. Dive in. Take us back.
That is remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a master's in science from Stanford and a bachelor in science from Berkeley, and you're on the insurance dudes?
Yeah,
we are honored.
Well, I mean, I gotta keep my intellectual chops up. Make sure my game is on. So yeah, it's funny, right? So I did my master's in aerospace engineering at Stanford, and I don't know, what is it, 15 years later or so, I was running a retail brokerage out in the Sierra Nevadas selling home insurance, which, you know, if you told me that in grad school, I would tell you, you know, what the hell happened in my life? Something went wrong.
Were you actually writing business? Like you were on the phone selling?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's really interesting because, I mean, in my whole career of doing different sales, like talking to engineers has been just like, oh shit, they need to know the answer to, like, they're the ones that say, give me the policy jacket, and they'll actually read it. Right. Like they read everything,
every little,
what about this? And you're like, well, it doesn't matter. Cause it is what it is, you know? And did you have to change your whole vernacular in order to sell? Like, did you have to dumb it down?
I love my engineers. I love them to death. I was a little bit of a fish out of water.
Okay.
It's funny because I'd go between my engineering classes in grad school and business classes. I go in the business classes, everybody would be up talking, you know, meeting each other. You go into engineering class before the professor shows up, everybody's silent. Sitting there in their chair, silent.
It's so like
I'd feel bad, right? I'd lean over to the guy and be like, hey, how'd you do on the homework last night? And they'd be like, everybody would be walking around at me.
I'm reading.
Nobody, professor's not here. What does it matter? It's just talk. Anyway, yeah. So
interesting. It's like a junior high dance
with the business development stuff.
Yeah. So
that is interesting.
I do love my engineers.
You made, dude, those are some tough schools. Let's just be honest. So you don't seem to have the personality of an engineer. What, give us some other tidbits. What else, you didn't think that you were going to go into what you went into necessarily. So, I want to go a little deeper in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I was working out of grad school, I was working for a commercial satellite company. We did the satellites for DirecTV, Dish Network, AT&T, Verizon, XM Sirius Radio, all that stuff. One of the coolest things I did is we worked on 2 satellites that gave internet to all of Australia.
Wow.
Which is super cool.
Oh, wow. That is cool.
The best one I did a proposal for NASA. Didn't get accepted, sadly, but we designed a telescope that went around the sun and looked at Alpha Centauri trying to look for life, for alien life.
Well, I like it.
That
I'm interested in that project.
That was cool.
That is awesome.
Well, yeah. I mean, they should have done it, but yeah, no. I mean, the way we looked at it. So I actually started a space startup before this company. that was basically stringing up cell phone towers in all of space, connecting everything real time, every satellite you could talk to at any moment. But the space industry is incredible and amazing. The space-based economy is still coming. It's got some years to go before it's really, a market size that justifies a lot of different things. So the way I looked at it at the time when we started this company was that we really got to do something that utilizes some interesting space-based data to be able to impact real people on the ground. Because there's a lot of great ideas and cool technology that goes into space, but there's a lot of problems here on the ground that we also need to, take care of.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like the insurance industry, just when it comes from the power of the economic driver. There is so much that you can do by taking a mission and matching it with a business plan that uses capitalism to drive that mission. And, for us, we're really working to Delos is working to try to help people in wildfire areas, in all catastrophe regions eventually, starting with wildfire areas. And we truly believe being able to be in a position where we are insuring homes that gives us the revenue and the money to be able to turn, not just from a coverage standpoint, but from a hardening standpoint, from a loss control and loss reduction standpoint, where we can sit in a position where we have the resources to actually try to protect homes.
I love that, especially being in California. And I know you're in California with all the recent wildfires. What a need, especially. Yeah, you guys did, man. That was
right
rough.
when COVID started.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So take us through that a little bit. Take us a little deeper in on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 years ago, my co-founder and I, same co-founder, Shannon McIntyre, that we started the previous company, we decided to start this one. And what we realized is that we had the opportunity to take satellite imagery. Her background is physics and predictive modeling. My understanding of satellite imagery, her understanding predictive modeling, to model catastrophe in higher spatial resolution, really dangerous level, changing conditions over time correlates to a heightened or reduced likelihood that a home is burnt down in California or hit by a hurricane in Florida. The specific reason that we wanted to focus on catastrophe is a lot of things you can do with satellite imagery, but it's, we felt that there was sort of a hole in society, not necessarily in any one industry, right? There's very clearly an increased number of natural disasters every single year. Yeah. It's very clearly an increase in amount of destruction that comes from each natural disaster. And frankly, I don't care why. It's just what's happening, right? That's just the reality we live in. And so there's a lot of people in California here, and I'm sure in Arizona as well, that are now in a fire area that weren't previously in a fire area, right? They didn't move, just there's more fires. So there's a lot of folks sitting there saying, hey, I see the smoke in the air every single year. I read the stories about paradise. It's horrifying. My home is here. My livelihood is here. My family is here. How do I navigate the fact that I now live directly in the line of fire? And there's no entity that does that right now, that helps people navigate that. CAL FIRE tries, but really they should be fighting the fires, right? They should be focused on fighting fires, not on helping people through this situation. So go ahead.
Well, and you're probably about to say it, but I'm curious how, if all the other
insurance,
if all the other companies can't or won't, how does Delos step in and do it?
Yeah. So right when we started, we met and partnered with some wildfire science academics, professors, and with them on board and the two co-founders, we co-developed the Delos Insurance wildfire risk model. Okay. That model's been holding up. First model came out 3 years ago, and out in market throughout all of these years, we've held up a 90 to 95% accuracy rating. The model itself is we have a patent pending on the algorithm. It's a novel use of AI to geospatial data. it's able to understand lots of different types of data in a 3-dimensional format to be able to understand locality effects, right? Everything burns differently. Grasslands versus chaparral in Southern California versus redwood forests. So you have to really understand what are the risk factors of any one location. And this algorithm is able to do that. We also have a lot of unique data inputs. We have multiple fire climate models that looks at not only where we are right now in terms of what climate conditions in each location could cause a very big wind-driven fire, but also where we're going over the next few years. And then we have lots of satellite imagery, a probabilistic ignition model, 10 million fire simulations running supercomputers, up to over 100 data points at this point that go into this algorithm. And it's really able to determine, to a very accurate degree, what is exposed. And it's able to determine, sort of what is exposed right now and what's exposed tomorrow, as opposed to what is the average of exposure over the last 60 years, which is how most insurance companies approach it.
And so then, wow. I'm just an insurance dude, not an aerospace engineer. But so then, based on that information, you're able to price the product according to the risk.
That's right. Yeah. Price according to exposure. So we've actually found, just in terms of underwriting first, we've actually found that about half of the homes right now that are struggling to find coverage because of wildfire exposure, about half of those homes are actually, our model calls low or medium risk. Okay. Basically, they're miscategorized. And for a lot of different price points, they could be insured.
I see.
And so we're able to go into a lot of these areas that are just simply getting no options, or maybe going to the California Fair Plan. We can go into these areas and cover these homes when there really isn't any other option to do so.
That's very interesting. So you basically use the technology to identify and create the market that now has to buy from you.
Yeah, and the market is, the fires are sort of driving this, right? As there's more fires, as the fires are different, right, with the dry lightning ignition events that happened last year in 2020 up in Northern California, insurance companies are realizing sort of time and time again, they don't necessarily have the tools to understand this exposure. And that's okay. But their reaction to it, and because of reinsurance rates and a lot of different other factors, they're saying, okay, look, I can't participate in this. So they're taking off out of these areas, like just opening up this sector for a group that really does understand what the exposure is and how it changes over time.
How much of a change was it for you coming from arguably the highest tech industry, aerospace, to arguably the lowest tech industry, which is insurance, and then making sense of that?
When our brokerage, we were pitched, one of the first year I was in it, we were pitched by a technology company that told us, they came to us and they said, hey, we have this new technology that allows you to network each computer in your office. So if you have a file, they literally said this, if you have a file at the computer in the front of your office, you don't have to print it out and walk to the back of the office and then type it into a computer there. Wow, thanks. It's really nice.
I have a technology that can figure out if there's life on Alpha Centauri.
Right? Yeah. It's interesting because aerospace actually isn't too different culturally. It's dominated by a few very major players, right? You have the Boeings and the Raytheons, Northrop Grumman, and Lockheed Martin. And they're also very risk-adverse companies, mainly because, the company I was working for, Space Systems L'Oreal here in Palo Alto, each of their satellites would cost hundreds of millions, if not, over $500 million, which means that if you take a little bit of a risk and that causes the whole thing to go down or blow up, you just wasted $500 million. So there's catastrophic consequences to taking risk. And therefore they actually, because of that consequence, had to innovate slower than, say, your iPhone, for example.
That is interesting.
So it wasn't that different culturally. And I think we kind of understood where people are coming from, when we showed up and, insurance companies didn't want to be changing their risk understanding too quickly.
Are you licensing out this model for like major carriers, or what's the plan for that?
Great question. No, we are a managing general agent. We are active and we are selling Delos home insurance policies here in California. Um, we strongly believe that in order to actually solve the problem of wildfire exposure, insurance in wildfire exposed areas, the MGA is the only solution. The structure of a third-party data model licensing to an insurance company, it doesn't work anymore, because you need to have an extremely in-depth understanding of the exposure. You need to be able to update that on potentially a monthly basis, if not definitely a yearly basis. And it needs to impact not just your underwriting and your pricing, but your portfolio management. And that needs to update as the peril changes as well. So what we do is we run programs. If somebody has a program already set up, commercial property, vacant home, we can take that and put risks on it that fit. We also create our own programs, just straight home insurance in California. We've created our own surplus lines program, and we're out and selling right now with that.
Super cool. Super cool. So you're bypassing the whole the outsourcing or marketing it to the big carriers. Have any of them approached you guys knowing that you guys kind of have nailed the 95% accuracy in California in the you said 95% in the last 3 years is incredible, because there have been, totally out of pattern wildfires here in California.
Yeah,
so
that's right. I should say 95% 2017, 18, and 19. We're actually higher than 95 at that time. We were closer to 90% in 2020 because of the dry lightning ignition events. But it took us 2 months to determine what we did wrong and iterate and have include new layers that got us back to that projected accuracy. So, but yeah, we're backed by academics that have been studying this for an extremely long time. They're two of the professors that co-developed CAL FIRE's wildfire risk model. So they know what they're doing.
Wow. Super cool, man. What's getting you jazzed about the next couple of years? You guys are
more fires.
You guys are crushing it.
Yeah, it's been going really well. So we have three. We're backed by 3 insurance companies right now. Canopius US, which is our insurance carrier based out of Chicago. One of the members of the Canopius group includes the Lloyd Syndicate. And then we are also backed by Arch Reinsurance and Barbican, which is a different Lloyd Syndicate. But we're getting a lot of interest from other insurance companies too. We've been able to, from an underwriting perspective, obviously we've been accurate, but also from a portfolio management perspective, we've been able to put together portfolios that allow insurance companies that are, insurance companies, reinsurance companies, they're really scared about what could potentially happen in one occurrence, what could happen in catastrophic years. We've been able to put together a portfolio structure that allows these insurance companies to participate in this sector and still be safe from any one real catastrophic event. And with that structuring, we're starting to get a lot of interest from a lot of different reinsurance companies and insurance companies to back our MGA. So as time moves on, right, as we compile a panel of capacity risk takers, we'll be able to write a fairly significant portion of the wildfire exposed market, not just in California, but across the entire Western U.S.
Wow. Super cool, man. Love it. What are some things that you'd tell agents, like agents across the country? What are some things, that you've learned within the industry that could help other agents really navigate these kind of risks, different environmental risks as well? Being
an agent in fire areas is so tough. And I guess fire areas is really just the state of California at this point. But, we had some clients that got non-renewed every single year in our brokerage. And so, your business model in a lot of ways as an agent is based on, spending more time on incoming new business in order to capture the client and then living off of the float of the renewal business. And if you're in a situation where you have to resource an insurance policy for your client every single year, it almost doesn't make sense economically.
Right.
So it sucks. So advice, I don't know. I mean,
you're captive. If you, like Jason has, I think now you can write some home, right? But for a long time, no home.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not bundling, that hurts retention. It's, you know, it's challenging.
Yeah, we're actually talking to some of the major captive agent carriers for a distribution partnership where if they can't sell their own product, they can sell ours, which would really help the agents keep the client and keep the client happy. You also keep auto insurance, you keep umbrella, all the other policies for that client. Yeah. So we're working on that. We have to build a little bit of technology for them to be able to really sign up for it. But hoping in a couple of months we can get going with that, which would be pretty cool.
Well, if somebody wants to learn more, find you, where would they go?
Yeah, so getdelos.com is our website. It's GETDELOS. Delos is like the Greek island. And then, of course, we're on Twitter at GetDelos and on LinkedIn with this same name, Delos Insurance.
Facebook?
We're on Facebook. I don't use it nearly as much.
Know. It's the medium of the agent. It's crazy. Yeah. And I'm not a big I don't like it.
You love the DMs. Don't act like you don't.
I don't. If you have a question, just DM. Go ahead and DM Jason.
I would actually just tweet him and, just put in giant block letters, pay attention to me. I think that's probably the best way. Yeah. Public tweet, everything.
Public tweet.
I love it.
Complaints.
Yes.
I haven't been on the Twitter since the Dawn got banned because that was just entertainment. But what can you do?
Well, Kevin, that is so cool. Yeah. Love what you're doing. Super cool to see somebody from your background come into the insurance business and do good in our space. Love it.
And dare I say, bring the heat.
Bring the heat.
Oh man.
Where's that ting? You got.
We need a or I don't have that one.
I think you should just take a recording of you vocalizing all these sound effects and just read that every time.
Like in Police Academy.
I think it's a great idea.
There they are. There's the audience. Well, thank you to the audience. And thank you, Kevin. This has been phenomenal. It's been great to have you on. Thank you so much.
It's been fun. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate what you're doing for agents out there.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Super helpful.
You too, man. Love it.
Bye.